Let me.
And we're live.
I started getting
love it.
notifications from Facebook.
She's well, good evening. Welcome, family. Welcome back. Did you miss us?
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Did you miss
You remember
us?
the name? You remember that show? You singing the song, but you remember the show?
Yeah.
No, what was
What's
the
the name of the show?
No.
I don't think neither
I
one
thought
of
it
y'all
was a
remember that
song.
show.
Wasn't it a song by like Mace?
It was a song. It was that goes back to that goes back to a sitcom called Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh no,
it's like a 80s sitcom. Welcome back. You gotta be an 80, you gotta be a 70s baby to know that joint right there.
Yeah. That's a little before my time.
Yes, that was before our time. But thank you for bringing that perspective. And Cotter, hope all is well with you out there, whoever you were or are as an actor. Good evening, family. You're tuning in to the Seer Mastermind Show. I am your mastermind coach, habit and accountability coach, Bakar Obey, here with my co-founders and co-hosts, your financial conductor, Majida, and the helpful trucker, Maurice. And you're probably wondering why all of us share the same name. Well, we're all part of one family. All right. Maurice, a brother-in-law, one free national name. If you don't know what that is, man,
reach out.
Reach out. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Well, man, I'm excited to see you guys again, man. It's been a month since we've been together. A lot has gone on in the last month. We're making some serious and important decisions to close out the year. And so I'd love to hear from you all. What's been going on in the last month of your lives, entrepreneurs and masterminds?
I don't want to jump in. I'm gonna let G go first. I don't want to be rude.
I was gonna let you go first because Bakar know what's been going on with me. We don't know what's been going on with you.
No, he should know what's been going on with me. We've been in masterminds.
Yeah, y'all been on the mastermind.
I know what's going on, but do you know what's going on?
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with
each other. So what y'all talk to each other. Let us.
So yeah, what's been going on? Go ahead, Mark.
I've been working. I've been grinding. I've been working. I've been grinding on my truck. I've been building my business, my trucking business. I've been spending money. I feel like I'm hemorrhaging right now. Not really. I've been building my business and spending money. That's what I've been doing.
Investing money.
Yeah. Maintaining, investing, however you want to put it. I done bought tires for my truck. Tires $400 a pop for them trucks. I had to get 6 of them like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
yeah, you got 10 on the truck. So
praise
but
God.
I just went to get 6 just a couple of weeks ago. Just went to get 6 a couple of weeks ago, and just went to the shop yesterday and wrote them a check for $500. That was for labor. The parts was another $500. Then went back to the parts store today and spent another $900. That was just for parts. So hey, yeah.
So
the good thing is,
tell them the good.
Say what?
No, I was just saying.
The good thing is, I could.
Go ahead, Maurice.
The good thing is I can cover it. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
The good thing is I can cover it. You know what I mean? So that's a beautiful thing. Got me a couple of affiliate sales in the last month. I got a couple of affiliate sales since the last time we met, Bakar, in our mastermind. But definitely, if it's been a month since all of us been together, I done got a few affiliate sales. I done got some autopilot money, made a few dollars with that. Made a few, sold a few pieces of merchandise, did some merch sales. That's a win, but I don't really count though. I mean, they're wins, but that's autopilot money. That's something that I set up. You know what I mean? And it's kind of coming in now.
Win.
So,
look,
but I mean, other than that, man, just working, prepare for the winter. Yeah. I'm still sorting all that out. I'm still working all that out. I still haven't opened up my group yet. We did a live stream that was very good. I got and the next day after we did that live stream, I got a relative that's like, hey, I need to talk to your sister-in-law, man. she sound like she definitely sound like she the person that I need to talk to. So he definitely, my cousin Nico wants me to. I've been meaning to call 100% much more.
Good stuff. Oh, hold on.
That's all right. He'll be back.
No, I removed him. Let me see if I got him.
The live worked as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if anybody got, you know.
Oh man,
you're losing you, bro.
Got the message. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say, what to do. I don't know. I don't know.
We gonna make it do what it do. We'll get through it.
I don't know. Yep.
That means in 2022 we upgrading everybody's internet
service. I got the joint right here. I gotta get it. I gotta hook it up though. Maybe you can shoot by here or something one day and help me hook this. It's an internet. It's a thing. You know what I mean? Where I can just plug it in and got a closer internet signal. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That sounds good.
I got it. I bought it a couple weeks ago. Just haven't hooked it up in here yet, so I won't have this problem.
Love it.
But that's what's going on. Working, grinding, hustling, spending money, being a real entrepreneur. You know what I mean?
Sounds good.
Sure.
What's been going on with your turn, Majida?
My turn. So yeah, we did a live stream a week ago. That was fun. Had a good time doing that. Always love sharing like good information, you know? Just good information that people could use. And if they apply it, great. If they don't, great. But you know, hopefully they do.
Yeah.
If not now, you know, in the future. That's what I do love about these platforms. They may not get the information today, but it'll be out there for them to receive when they're ready to receive it. So that was fun. Bakar and I were in Atlanta 2 weeks ago. Then I went back a week ago. So I made some connection. Like I reconnected with some folks, which was phenomenal. But also got to meet a bunch of folks that I've been connected with like for the last year. I finally got to meet them in person, and it was like a family reunion. So shout out to the Breathe University family, associates. Yeah, that was phenomenal. The 120 conference. Yeah, I'm already registered for next year.
Oh man,
it was legit.
So watch this then. Because assume that nobody knows what a 120 conference is, and nobody knows what a Breathe University is. So just tell the people real quick, you know what I mean, what you're talking about.
What it is. Look, if you are looking for a community, look, I could probably let me practice the mantra. Let me see.
Oh snap! We gonna put it right here. All right, y'all, this is it.
Right, if you're looking for a community to support you, if you're looking for a community that encourages you, you're looking for a community that will hold you accountable, and a community that will choose the family that chooses you, and choose Breathe University. Like it is legit. This is what I don't know. Look, if I get in trouble for sharing this, but like it literally is fertile ground, right? Like if you are looking to grow and blossom, it's definitely the place to do it. Like it gives you what you need to grow. It gives you the support. It gives you the environment, right? Like I don't think people realize how important your environment is to your growth. And so if you're that person who's seeking to grow, you have ambition, you have desire, and yet you're surrounded by people who don't share that same drive, it's like a rose trying to go through concrete. Like it's possible, but like it ain't. That's not the best environment for it to grow. And so I know it's definitely been impactful in my growth, and really like it's really helped me to be me, right? Like, you know, the play on words, Breathe University, be you. Like it literally encourages you to be you. You can go a lot of places and there's an expectation for you to be somebody that you're not, or to get money, you know, to chase after money, or to do all of these things that are like separate from you. And in Breathe University, you just get to be you, but like the best you, right? You get to maximize your potential. I was talking to some of my sisters today, Yeah, like I told you, it's family. All right, so I was talking to some of my sisters today, and we like Midwest, North Carolina, Virginia, Missouri, Arkansas. Like we got a little connection, Alaska. Like, we all across the country. But what we have in common is that we've seen our growth through data-driven assessments. Bring out the engineer in me. Through data-driven assessments, we've seen our strengths improve over the course of our affiliation with the community. And that's just the evidence that like you get to be you, and the more you get to be, the stronger you are in being you, instead of being focused on being somebody that you're not. So shout out once again to Breathe University. There's no place like it, hands down.
And by the way, Breathe University is the official Eric Thomas accountability community. The official.
Yeah,
right. So if you're fans of ET, you know with a little bit of what the 120 mantra and conference is all about. Tell them a little bit about your experience, because I was down there with you, and I had a little different experience as you. I had a chance to volunteer with the community, really see a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes and what it takes to run an event. You know, something like 1,300 people on the ground and 600 online.
Yeah.
You know, y'all see my 120 cat that I'm always rocking, you know, staying with that energy. But what was the experience like you? Because I think you got the VIP. Tell them what the VIP Platinum experience.
VIP Platinum, right? So I got 2 days of Eric Thomas and his associates pouring into us, challenging us, right? Like it was just phenomenal. But it's crazy, right? Because I've been in network marketing. I've also been in direct sales. And so I'm used to when I go to conferences, you got to like get up early and like you like go set up, you know, super early in the morning so you can get the best seats. Why was I out at 4:30 in the morning the first day of the conference and like nobody was there? I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like, ain't nobody camping out? Like, so literally it didn't start till literally 9 o'clock and the doors opened at 8, and I was there at 4:30 thinking I had to get there so I could be first. So anyway, that my direct sales and network marketing days helped me to get front row seats, and I secured seats for me and like 4 other people. So we were front row the whole weekend, which was phenomenal, right? Like no distractions. You get the energy straight from the speakers.
Love it.
And so yeah, that was yeah. And like I've come back from that conference because a lot of people go to conferences, they take a bunch of notes, they get jacked up, motivated, inspired, and they like don't take action. But like the whole conference, it was like, look, y'all better do something with these notes. Look, we are giving you a tool to use when you leave. We got this planner that you can literally leave this conference with and start to apply. And so it's been good to just be like I've been in application mode the last couple weeks. Even with my trip to Atlanta, it was just like I was making more connections and I was sharing my vision and I was like, you know, getting more people. Because that's one of the biggest things that I've learned through that community is like building relationships, like being intentional about the people who you're connected with and the deposits that you're making into their lives, and ensuring that you're also receiving deposits. Like you shouldn't be the only one giving. You should also be receiving deposits. And if the relationship isn't mutual, then you might need to change your relationship. So
I love it. I love it. Maurice, I saw you grinning a little bit when she was talking about building those relationships. And I know I'll just share a little bit, man. My experience behind the scenes was, I think it was really amazing. You know, that everybody behind the scenes, shout out to Coach Val, shout out to Charles. They just execute at a high level, right? And it's just like there ain't no feelings involved. Like show up and execute. That's all that matters, right? To put on a phenomenal experience for people. And I mean, when the people came in the door, I think everybody was just in the perfect position to be able to add a lot of value where they were, you know, from the fancy rooms. I don't want to spoil it for you, but go to 120 series, Chicago. You know what I'm saying? You need to be in Chicago. That's all I'm gonna say.
For
You need
sure.
to be in Chicago, and don't go alone. You know, take your team up there. Check it out because
with you.
yeah, absolutely. You know, it's really about pouring into people. But enough about them. Enough about them. Right? That's what we've been up to. Maurice is like, okay, finally us again. So
You asked.
I did. No,
You asked. No, he asked.
Who asked?
You did. You said for the people that don't know what Breathe You and 120 is, so it was your fault.
Okay. Okay.
we can get off, but I mean, like that's part of our lives nowadays, though. That's part of our culture. These people that we check in and see every day. So being able to see them like for the first time in person, you know, when all year and the last year that you've been connecting with them daily, it meant a lot. It meant a lot, especially for me, because I've been taking the quarantine seriously. You know, I've been going out only as necessary or to see the most important people in my life. And this was definitely a moment that was worth getting out. And actually, speaking of 120 and Eric Thomas, I got something that I'm gonna tease for you all later in the show. But you got to tune in, you got to stay logged in with us. We are streaming on Facebook. And we post these videos on our YouTube page. You can go to Seer Mastermind. So, Maurice Majida, things are changing in the landscape of the world right now. That we got a new president, new administration in there. We are taking some different approaches to, you know, returning life back to well, there's some people who want life to return back to normal, right? Pre-pandemic normal. I have my own opinions on that. I'll share that later. But I want to hear about you. September 30th, I believe, is when a certain mandate went into effect. Now, please don't, I can read it. I don't have all the details. But essentially, that there are corporations and companies that have a federal requirement to vaccinate or to have all of their employees vaccinated if they have over 100 employees in their business. And I've seen mixed responses all throughout social media. So we call in the show today, No Jab, No Job, to really unpack, you know, how are people feeling about it? What's been your experience or exposure to it? Is it affecting you? What are the consequences to you and those around you? I want to understand, right? Really get a pulse on the nation, best we can. How has this new mandate that's been in effect for about a week now, affecting your life? And I got some stories to share as well. But who would like to go for Majida? You're out there in the field.
So I've had a few conversations with some individuals that I'm connected with about it, and I'm glad I don't watch the news because I swear I would be like, I wouldn't know what was going on. I wouldn't know what laws were passed, and I know that like ignorance of the law is no excuse, but like this is one of the instances. Like I don't know. Like I'm really concerned about the shift, right? Like it's not just about, in my belief, it's not just about protecting people, it's about controlling them. Because if we were really concerned about protecting people, we wouldn't have as many homeless people, right? Like this whole idea that we're protecting people now by enforcing something against people's will. Like it does, to me, it goes against the principles on which this country was founded, right? Like even though those principles may not have applied to people that look like me, you know, when they were founded, but like now we free, I ain't finna go back to being a slave.
They applied to people that look like you. You got a free national name.
Well, yes.
But I get what you're trying to say. 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, like I just
have you been vaccinated? You smiling like what? I'm sorry. If I wasn't
Answer
supposed
the
to ask
question.
that, if you're not comfortable with asking that, and I shouldn't have asked that, and I apologize. You know what I mean? Like
It's
I
all
think
good.
that might be the same as asking somebody like who you voted for. Like it might
Right.
just be,
Or
like
did you have sex with
inappropriate.
your wife? Like,
Damn.
like what?
We went there. She went there.
But did you
No,
just
that's
say
real,
no?
though.
Did you just say no?
Yes, I said no.
I got you. So you haven't been mandated to, or you just flying under the radar?
I have not gotten any clear communication that it's a requirement for me personally at my job to.
Got you.
So I'll
Got you.
cross that bridge when I get to it.
Their story is not your story.
It's not like
that's what I say at a time like that. Like I know what's been said, but like kind of like this is the situation I'm personally dealing with. So.
I've been living my life the last year and a half. I've grown in the last year and a half. I don't like whatever's going on, like it hasn't affected me. Yeah, we've had to make some adjustments and wear a mask and all this kind of stuff. But I promise you, it didn't stop me from visiting my brother in San Diego. It didn't stop me from seeing my family in New Jersey. It didn't stop me from seeing my family in Texas. It didn't stop me from going to Atlanta a couple weeks ago. And like I'm not gonna stop living because something outside of me is telling me I should be afraid and I should cower. And I'm gonna go to the scriptures for those who are Christian or who read the Bible or study it. He said God did not give you the spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. So
I personally don't see how anybody could like my belief, and feel free to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, let's get into it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like I don't see how in my opinion, everybody has been adversely affected by this pandemic. Not one person that has not been adversely affected. And I know, I want to be strong. You know what I mean? Like I want to I'm better. I'm stronger now too. You know what I mean? But like just to give a little example off topic, just a little bit, right? So like, it was a big deal for me to take some of the stimulus that I took because I didn't feel like I needed it. And on a certain aspect, but then on another aspect, it's like, yeah, I do need it. Absolutely, I need it because I've been adversely affected by this pandemic. And I'm not talking about the $600 stimulus. I'm talking about the stimulus for small businesses. Because I have been adversely affected by this pandemic, and my business has been adversely affected by this pandemic. And it's one thing I keep coming to that conclusion. It's like, man, my personal opinion is it ain't nobody walking around like, man, if you had an opportunity to take stimulus, my hindsight, my retroactive thought now is you absolutely should have taken it, because even if you've been affected, even if you don't know that you've been affected. And that's not me trying to knock a person down a notch. It's just like, it's so many things, it's so many changes. As humans, we adapt. Like we adapt, and then you know what I'm saying, it becomes the new norm then, and it's just like norm to us. But like, man, how much pressure can, you know what I mean? Like, gee whiz, man.
Well, at the conference, Jesse Itzler said pressure is a privilege.
Yeah.
And to that point, right? Like I understand what you're saying in terms of how we've been adversely affected, or how people have been adversely affected. And I think it really speaks to our mental toughness. Something John says all the time is this is the land of the free and the home of the brave, but very few people are free and even fewer are brave. Like this country was founded on certain ideals about the human capacity, right? Like what you as an individual could accomplish, right? You come here and you could build a new life. You could start over, right? So I feel like we're losing those values, right? If we want to really speak to like the core of it, like our value system really is being challenged in this time. People are losing their sense of self because they're adopting and they're listening to, like, people don't know themselves, right? So during this pandemic, right? Yes, all of what's going on outside of me, it allowed me to get quiet and allowed me to get in tune with who I am and get to know myself. And if you really want to look at spirituality, right? Like that's the first principle that we taught from our holy book is know thyself and thy Father God, right? Like that's number one. And so if for me, it allowed me to get closer to my creator and figure out like, all right, if I have faith, if I believe what I say I believe, if I believe there is something greater than me, then like what I it says nothing happens without his knowledge and will. So like I'm not fazed by what's going on when I have faith. And it doesn't mean that I have blind faith, but there's enough evidence in my life to say that whatever transpires, whatever trials that I've gone through, like I've come out on the other side better, stronger, wiser, right? Like so
that don't kill me. I'm sorry. Stronger, better, faster,
stronger.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's really how I'm taking it. It's just like, all right, you know, like we in the boxing ring, and
so why not just get the shot then?
Let me answer that. Because I'm gonna take what she's saying about like knowing
I
thyself.
asked that for a reason too, but go ahead, bro.
No, I appreciate it.
I'll answer it. Go ahead, Ricardo. Go ahead.
So I look at it as really a choice of responsibility and freedom, right? Responsibility and freedom. So, you know, we call it no jab, no job. What is like who's in charge of your health? First and foremost, who's the first person that's in charge of your health?
You are 100%.
You are.
I hope so.
Right. So how do you do like, and this is something I love what ET says all the time. It's like you can't replace immune system. Like there's nothing outside of you that you can put in you that's going to replace the power or the effect of your immune system. Your immune system still has to do the work. You can put stuff in to help the immune system, but you can't replace the immune system.
You didn't design it.
And on the other side of that is who's responsible for you as a person to provide for you and your family?
It's all me.
You are.
Is it you or is it your employer? Because one of the things I'm finding out in entrepreneurship is, man, other people become your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Their health, their wellness, their fit, right? For those that can't provide for themselves, it's almost like being a parent. I don't have children, but this is the closest I've been to having children, is being an entrepreneur and having other people who are eating off of what I'm able to create and produce. Like that's not new to me, but it hits a little different when you know somebody, you know, is 20, 30, 40, 50 years old and they've got, you know, a wife and children and people that they're putting through college and they're coming to me for the answers. And they're coming to me for solutions. They're coming to me for ways to level up. Like I take that responsibility seriously. So if it's in their best interest, then I need to make that my best interest as well, right? If it's in their best interest, I got to make that my interest. I got to put their needs first. And when I think about how, like, there's really just this mixed history with the government. There are those who fought against, you know, organized government and structure, who live here. You know, they fought against the British's rule in order to have their own. However, within this system, they subjugated, you know, other humans within that. So there's this twisted history, like, you know, the government can be there to support, but there's these two sides of the aisle. One's like less government, one's like more. One's like take care of yourself, the other's like take care of the people. And there definitely needs to be a mix of that. So you know, this issue, this challenge in our communities, challenge in our society right now is like, who's gonna take responsible for us moving forward? Like who's paying the debt? Or we just gonna keep digging that hole? Right?
Everything always falls on the individuals.
That's the way I look at it, right?
As I'm listening to the politicians, and we're not talking about politics, but as I'm listening to the politicians talk about the Democrats, talk about how the Republicans are holding out and playing chicken, and I'm listening to the Republicans talk about how the Democrats should take more of a lead, and like they both kind of playing chicken with each other. And I hear the reporters saying, well, hey, Democrats can hold out just as long as Republicans can hold out. Like Democrats can play that game too. These are the terms and the phrases that I'm hearing. As I'm hearing this, I'm thinking, yeah, well, as y'all playing chicken with each other, the people are the ones that pay for those mistakes. I'm just piggybacking on what you said just now. Everything always falls on the people. The mistakes of the politicians falls on the people.
What would an educator say? Like the game of politics is to keep it going as long as possible, right? That's how you stay relevant in politics. That's how you stay relevant in politics. Is keep the service going like a tennis match, right? Hey, I can keep it going. I can keep it going. If somebody beating you too much, man, they put somebody else in there to keep the match going.
So here's the thing. Let's back up a second.
All right.
Why not get the vaccine? Because we talk about no jab, no job. Why not get the vaccine? But we talked about faith, right? Both of y'all kind of talked about faith. You got faith, so why not get the vaccine? No, the evidence around to say that you'll be okay once you get it. Why not just get it? I already know what the answer is. I'm kind of trying to pull it out. Y'all already know what the answer is.
Do you know what the answer is?
I know what y'all's answer is.
For something, you'll fall for anything.
Okay.
So
you thinking over there, Bakar? Why not get the vaccine? I mean, I know why I don't want to get it.
So here's my scientific reason. Amongst certain demographics, and namely PhD level professionals, people who think I would say in the same realm that I tend to think, is that it's still experimental. One, it's just my personal opinion, right? I'm not the CDC. I don't know if I trust the CDC. Let's put it out there. I don't know what they do there. You know, heard some history about where they came from, and it's like you got my interest in mind. But anyway, we're just talking. So to me, like there just is not enough evidence for me to see that it's slowing the spread.
What about if you're an individual that has, because neither one of y'all are in this situation, but what if you're an individual, you got a job, you got responsibilities, you got a family to support, and you being encouraged to get the vaccine? You don't want it. Some people get it because they want to be vaccinated. Fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But for the people that don't want it and are being mandated, is because it's mandatory that they get it and they don't want to get it. Like, what if you're that individual?
So at the end of the day, here's
what if you ain't lucky as Majida?
Here's what I believe. End of the day, here's what I believe.
You got the hookup, is that
yeah. Right. You know, they got. I think that because I said this to somebody the other day, and they were like, "Yeah, I guess they got 90 days to like put whatever in place." So I'm sure I'll be getting something within the next 90 days. But,
I got you.
I ain't got it yet.
Or they'll be getting something.
What do you think the plan would be then? Not sure yet. Deal with that when you get to it.
No, I'm sure. This is what wealthy people do. Mindset, right? It's not about what you have, it's how you think. You anticipate what could happen and you prepare for it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, I've been preparing for a time such as this. I didn't necessarily know that this would be it, but I've been preparing for a time such as this since I first started working in my job, right? Like to Bakar's point earlier, I'm responsible for taking care of my family. I'm responsible for setting the example for my children. And so whatever I do, the choices I make don't just impact me.
Exactly.
And so I don't, like I could follow the crowd, if you will, and do what everybody expects me to do. And that's what I'll teach my children. And what will that, like, how will that impact their lives? John and I spoke earlier this week, and I brought up this phrase by Jim Rohn. He's like, who are you around, right? What do they have you thinking? What do they have you doing? What do they have you saying? And is that okay? So
Hmm.
I'm in a community now that has empowered me to fully be me. Yo, I go to work like this now. I wasn't doing this 15 years ago, right? Like I rock queen earrings, and like I've had locks the whole time, right? But like I feel more empowered to be authentically me all of the time instead of adaptively being who other people feel comfortable with.
Oh man.
So like I can speak like I'm speaking now, and I'm not concerned about like who might see this or what they might say or who it might get back to. Like,
I'll tell you, that was the greatest gift the pandemic gave to me. I was like, you know what? We have to go away for a while. I'm quitting everything. I'm quitting everything that I was doing publicly. Because 4 years ago, almost to the day, was when my engineering job let me go. And it was at that point, man, if it wasn't for your financial services business that you invited me to work with, like I wouldn't have had another option. I wouldn't have even seen another option. I would have been thinking like a lot of people, I have to go find another job. I got to go find somebody else to help me take care of myself. And I realized that was the flaw in my whole plan.
And I guess that's kind of one of my questions. Like, what if an individual don't have the circumstance that you're fortunate enough to have? What if an individual is
circumstance? You make the most of your circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
And it really, and I mean, I love.
So let me say this. Let me go back to Majid.
What's most important to you? What are your principles? What do your principles tell you to do? Because I think that's one of the things that people aren't living with is firmness in their own principles. What do you believe? What do you stand for?
Yeah.
What do you stand for?
I stand for a lot. I stand for freedom. I stand for independence. But the flip side of that is what Majida said a minute ago. My decisions impact others, and I'm head of household. You get what I'm saying? So like I got faith as well. I haven't gotten the vaccine as well. And if it was just me in this world, I would be totally okay. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm okay. I'm away from people. You get what I'm saying? But so I got family and I got children.
Let me I want to echo back what you just said. You said I got freedom and I have independence.
I said I value. You value what my values are.
You value freedom, you value independence.
Exactly.
And you throw this word behind it, but
exactly.
You said, hold on. Exactly. You value freedom. You value independence, but
as head of but leadership carries a heavy burden.
Okay.
In other words, I value freedom and independence, but leadership requires you're obligated. You get what I'm saying? Like you're not totally like you value freedom, and we're pursuing freedom as leaders, but as Eric Thomas is not free. He is obligated to the 1,300 people that showed up to him this past week. You get what I'm saying? So,
but he chose that obligation.
That's kind of irrelevant. The point that I'm making is that is the flip side of the freedom and independence part. Like it's not all I just pursue freedom and independence and I don't care about the decisions and how they impact other people.
No, I understand.
But hold, because I want to get this question out. Because we were talking about because keep in mind, watch this. I know we never do a good job about this, but we're talking about no jab, no job. So right, so. Going back to Majida, let's just say 3 months from now, you've been given the information, the like, okay, this is what we need you to do, right? And like you said, you've been preparing yourself all of this time. But also keep in mind, this mandate also affects federal contractors. And Majida, you're about to get into construction. I'm assuming you might be going in that direction of federal contracting. So I guess that's another reason why I'm kind of asking a little bit more about the vaccine, even as an independent person, because staying independent don't necessarily free you from being obligated. There's that word again, to get in the vaccine. If you want to do business with the federal government, you got to get the vaccine. If you want to grow your business to over 100 people, you know what I mean? Like I ain't gonna say you have to get it, but they can impose a penalty on you in that situation. So I'm just wondering, like what do you do in that situation?
So to that point, right? Like, how long is this mandate in effect?
I don't know.
Like until what point? And so to the point about the federal contracts, I can choose not to do federal contracts. I have that choice.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So
I could choose not to grow my company over 100 people.
Right?
I can stop right at
and-
99. Be like, we good.
and this goes
And I
right
can
back.
still say, hey man, I make enough money, I'll pay the fee.
Okay. I got you. So watch this.
I can start another company and hire another 99 people.
Just follow me on this one, because
I can
now
think
y'all
creatively
now y'all
about
are
how to
talking
go around.
because now
these
y'all are talking
mandates.
about okay, watch this. So it goes right back to why I asked the question, why not just get the vaccine? Because if y'all talking about doing all of that stuff, that's a heavy price to pay to say no to the vaccine.
Is it?
Especially if you're an individual that's saying, yo, I got faith. If you got faith, just it's like saying I ain't gonna follow the speed limit. I don't care what they tell me or how much they force me. I ain't gonna follow it because I'm free.
So here's the deal, and we're talking about principles, right? And I love the conversation. I love this where it's going.
100%.
I love where this is going. So in principle, just the same way you said that you value freedom and independence, as a head of household, wouldn't you say you're also responsible for leading in those things?
100%. 100%.
So how can you lead in those things if you will cave to anything?
Well, I think there's a long distance between allowing yourself to be vaccinated and saying that a person caves to anything. They're mandating vaccines because people won't cave. So I think there's a big space between you connected those two. There's a big distance.
Why? Can we ask the question why? Like, why do you have to go through these? Not in the history of this country, they've not had to go to these lengths to convince people to do something that's supposed to be in their best interest.
When do you typically have to convince anybody to do something that's good for them?
When they don't want to do it. Just like getting my son to take his medicine. If I want him to take his medicine and he don't want to take it, you know what I mean? I got to get him to take it.
Okay, but your son may not understand the purpose of the medicine.
I think that's the same way the government feel about its people in regards to this vaccine right now.
No. Let's take it off of the no jab, no job, right?
All right, cool.
All right, I'm gonna go on that point that you just made about getting people to do something that's in their best interest. It's in people's best interest to exercise. It's in people's best interest to eat healthy. We're not encouraging that. We're encouraging you to put a Band-Aid on it and have somebody else be responsible for your health. We're not promoting self-stewardship, self-accountability, being responsible for oneself. That's not what we're encouraging. And that's what we should be encouraging, because that puts the onus on the individual to take responsibility. I shared this, I think on that when we spoke last week on your live stream. 70% of our country is overweight. 70% of our country is on medication. According to the Model Health Show with Sean T, we are the sickest nation in the world, in the history of the world, and it's self-inflicted. And yet, a virus shows up, and we're now all concerned about people's health when we haven't been promoting health throughout the history of this country. So it's what's the word? It's the H word. Hypocritical. I'm concerned about your health, but I'm not going to tell you to exercise it, right? Like you hear that in marginalized groups, or you hear that, at the end of the what do you call it? The end of the news program, right? That little 10-second blip of a happy moment when like the other 29 minutes of the news has been violence and death and destruction, and right. And then you have this little happy moment. And I read something about like how that wave, if you will, of all of this negativity, and then this like moment of right, like it gives people just enough hope to where they stay plugged in, but it keeps them in that cycle, right? Like that's why I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. I don't know what's going on half the time, because it like my connection.
It doesn't feed you,
right?
In the direction that you want to go.
Absolutely.
It doesn't. Yeah, there are definitely ways to disrupt the narratives. And I think when it comes to putting out content, like that's where all of us show up, is just disrupting the narrative. Like Maurice, as a helpful trucker, your story is not a typical story. Or maybe it is. I don't know. But
No,
the
it's
content
not.
it's not. So the content that you put out is disruptive to the narrative, and a lot of
Mhm.
people found the value in it. Majida, your path, right, as a professional in engineering, but also as a financial professional, it's disruptive to the everyday narrative. It's like, wait, you got another job outside of your job?
Mhm. Like, who
you
does
work
that?
you work 2 jobs? Like, no, I have a career in one field and a business and a career in another, and I'm working them simultaneously to develop multiple active and passive streams of income. Like, what? You done lost some people already.
Yeah.
You done lost some people already.
I'm doing the most.
Well, what
But
about
like
your children, right? Like,
my children are following in my example. My 7-year-old has a freaking part-time job doing gymnastics. Like, I promise you. Like,
I was like, wait, she getting paid now?
no. Well, I guess it's a hobby since she don't get paid, but like she's committed. And I was reading today how like elite gymnasts could be practicing 40 plus hours a week. So she could grow to a level to where she's literally spending the same time that people spend on a job improving herself in gymnastics, right? And that's a level of commitment, right? But it's a choice. I would rather her choose to commit to gymnastics than to have to accept a job.
Oh, drop that in it. Uh-oh. I feel like we got our first
Yeah, I mean, now you know where I stand on this. I'm on the independent side of things because I have compliance issues. So, like, you ain't talking to nobody that is willing to bow down or break down or give in or none of that. You understand what I'm saying? That's
Like
why
the
I'm
more
on
you
this side.
pressure me,
However, you bring that
But
perspective, and I think
100%. There you
he's
go.
always a 7-7.
I am the have you thought about it this way guy.
Yeah.
and I feel like the conversations that we have is really to introduce people to other ways of thinking about what they're
100%.
probably normally used to hearing.
100%.
Like, our conversations are disruptive to the narrative. Period. So yes,
We ask you,
it's not to say
what you
we
think.
haven't think about we've seen so much of that. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Right. And I know that we're not the only type of people that are out there, but it does still surprise me to this day how common it is. Because I had to say, like, I'm living on prayers each day. I'm living on faith and prayers each day.
I got a question on this subject. And I guess think about this for a second.
All right.
As leaders,
shepherds, if you will,
we as part of leadership is to set the example. We know that. Part of leadership is to show the people, if you playing basketball, like show me how to sacrifice my body. Like, don't just tell me sacrifice my body. Let me see you out there on the floor sacrificing your body. Show me how. That's what leadership is, right? So I guess maybe you know where I'm going to with this. Is it the right thing to do if you are in a leadership position in this time of federal mandates to lead by example? Like, I may not want it for me. I guess this is the kind of the point that I was making before about I value freedom and independence, but I'm also obligated as a leader, right? So, like, do I have more of an obligation? If I got people following me, do I have the freedom? It's easy for me to say I'm not getting it if nobody's following me. But if I got people following me, can I do that?
What example are you setting? Because here's what I look at it. If you're leading, I pray that you're leading authentically. And you're not leading people in anything opposite that you would do on your own.
I think,
like, if you're leading, like, how can you lead somebody in somewhere that you ain't never been?
I think, one of the things that is special about America, about people in general, I'll say, is during tragic times, that's when they rally. That's when they unite. So, like, even if I just look at it from that perspective, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I don't know, but again, kind of going back to the faith thing. Like, there's a lot of things we do as components of this society that we don't understand, that we partake in willingly. Taxes being one of them. You get what I'm saying? Like, some people do everything they can to avoid and mitigate, and some people just say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead. I had a wealthy uncle that passed away recently. I never heard him, whenever we had the discussion about taxes, it was never a thing to him about like I'll pay my fair share. You get what I'm saying? Even though I don't understand what's going on with the money. But like, if you're now, he had a business. Now, when he does that, he has the right to turn to each one of his employees and say, y'all should do the same, just for the good of the society. And I guess I'm kind of, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm a leader, I'm not leading 100+ people in this time, so I'm not obligated in this way. But leadership does carry a heavy burden. So if you are a leader, do you have the freedom, if you got a significant following, to just say, I ain't getting it and you shouldn't either? How responsible is that? I guess that's kind of what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like to teach people to not, to essentially say, look, don't let's not unite behind this cause. Forget that.
I don't necessarily think it's like it really depends on whether you're taking a hard stance or whether you're promoting that each and every one of you have a choice.
Yeah.
So to me as a leader, I want to make sure that I model for you that you do have a choice.
Yeah.
It says mandate, but you still have a choice, right? This country was founded on people who chose not to obey a mandate. So don't forget that. Okay.
But but then they united around that.
Absolutely.
Around the freedom to choose.
Around the freedom to choose their own way.
And that's what people
life,
I think
liberty, and pursuit of happiness, right?
They're what we're seeing is division occurring, right? Like we're a divided country. Either you're for it or you're against it.
Uh-huh.
But what we don't understand is what we all have in common is the freedom to choose. And I said in the description for this, we've gotten into this mob mentality that whoever has the most followers, whoever has the most influence, like that's who we should listen to. And we've stopped listening to ourselves.
Ooh.
When we should really be encouraging each and every person, just like Bakar said, to choose for yourself. But most people don't know themselves, so they choose what other people want for them because they want to be accepted, and they're addicted to approval, and they want confirmation.
I love that. And I mean, I've often,
and by the way,
found
that's naturally
myself,
how the brain works, though, as well.
I've often found myself
influence,
saying,
power, and
I'm sorry, bro. I've often found myself saying almost the exact words that you said before a minute ago, Majida, that, you know what I mean, it encourage choice. But I guess the follow-up question to that is, how do you run an organized society if everybody can choose? And that's not me wanting to take a person's freedom of choice away from them. That's asking a legitimate question. Like, how do you run an organized society?
Let me get this one.
Everybody can just do
let me get this, Gina. You institute accountability.
Laws.
Yes.
That's what accountability is.
Yes.
It is consequence for your choices.
In other words, if you don't get this mandate, if you don't get this shot, you won't have a job. We right back to no jab, no job. It sound like
it's someone's form of accountability.
Uh-huh.
Someone's form of accountability, because whatever the government believes about how to address the pandemic issue, it's saying get in line with this, or we will rob you of the freedoms that you enjoy on us, because it's on us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either you're either going to be for the choice or fall in line.
I feel crazy because I don't want to get it, but I want everybody else to get it. Because I wanted to go away. I definitely wanted to go away. You know
I just want to keep my mask on. So, you know what I'm saying? I could be like Spider-Man out here all day, every day. I got no issues. You can. I wear my grandchildren will never know my face except for when we at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, but no. It's accountability, and I don't look. No. I can't let this one go. Hold on for a second, because like accountability is who I am, what I do nowadays, right? And our government hasn't been accountable.
Oh, that's from day one, bro.
From
that's
day
going
one.
back 400 years.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's ingrained in
How
who
you
they
gonna
are.
enforce something that you don't?
Our government hasn't been accountable, right?
With their finances, with
history, with everything,
with social and civil rights, like
they still teaching that Columbus discovered America.
Where is the accountability?
I agree.
Where's
I got
the
to agree that.
So where is
the setting the record straight? Like, let's go back and set the record straight. Like, how
do you organize a free society? You have to instill accountability. It has to happen on every level.
Yeah.
But that's I'm gonna say again, that's what that sounds like to me. That's what laws, that's the purpose of laws.
Right.
That's the purpose of a federal mandate.
Only apply to certain people, that's the problem. The law should apply to everybody. This federal mandate, did you know that Congress
don't have to do it?
Don't have to do it. Moderna employees, Pfizer, they're all exempt. So how can it be so good when the people who are promoting it are exempt from having to abide by it? Like, that doesn't make sense. Laws.
I'm gonna say to you again. I want you to think, okay? Because I totally agree with what you're saying. I'm just don't add up. I'm not saying. I apologize. I said that the wrong way. I said that the wrong way. I didn't mean to say that, imply that you weren't thinking, because you actually are thinking.
Why do the people
what I'm thinking and what I'm wondering is, I got you.
So good for me.
I got you. Here's the question that you haven't answered yet that I need you to answer.
Go ahead.
Because the facts are, you can be right in a wrong way. Again. Yeah. So okay. So you feel the same. Okay, you feel free enough to speak the way that you're speaking now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're standing in front of 500 people, is it responsible to say that? Think about what you just said. It's so right. I agree with it. Yo, this thing makes no sense at all. We're being incentivized to put shots in our body, and at the same time, at the grocery store, apples is $8. I'm exaggerating a little bit about the $8, but I'm just saying it's expensive to eat healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it don't make no sense at all. Like, incentivize us
a free,
a free shot, but we're gonna charge you on the other end to eat healthy. So I agree, it makes no sense. I'm just saying, from the perspective of the person that's in a leadership position, aren't you obligated? You can't just say that if you're in lead, even if it's right.
I don't understand. I don't understand the role of leadership if you're not leading people in right.
Say it again.
I don't understand. What is the role of leadership if you're not leading people in what is right? Now, granted, everybody's truth is their truth. Everybody sees through different lenses, for sure, right? And as a leadership, your voice or your impact, your influence has implications. And I think that's part of what, there are people who are in leadership positions who
I think a person
that's unaware.
I think a person that's in a leadership position, even if they aren't going to get vaccinated and they don't believe in it, they would probably be hesitant to speak it to their 500 followers because they know that the power of their influence.
So, all right. I'm gonna do this diplomatically. I'm gonna do this diplomatically, right?
I'm sorry, Majida.
No. I hear it. I'm gonna do this the diplomatic way. So, again, what you're leading in matters. If you're leading on the side, like our president, who's leading saying, hey, we need everybody to get this shot so that we can get this thing under control. And then there are other leaders in their industries who saying, buddy, that don't really line up with my data. Who do you follow?
You want to answer to that?
I'm asking you, who do you follow if you've got one voice saying one thing, another voice saying the other thing?
The answer to that is what I said a minute ago. I'm not disagreeing with the correctness or the rightness. What you're saying is right. Is it the responsible thing to stand in front of your followers and say that? is the question that I'm
I
asking.
think it would be
Like leadership
to
is
not
not
stand up for something if you're in a leadership position.
I think it's a big space between not standing up for anything, what you just now said,
see,
and saying I need to be hesitant before I tell my people.
But that's where the accountability comes in. Like, can you also, are you also ready to say, you know what, y'all, I messed up, and I gotta own those lives. I gotta own it. Right? You can't just be like, I was wrong, but you know what? Hey, I'm off the hook. That's not leadership.
I don't think that's what the example that I'm giving. I don't think that's what I'm talking about.
I think it really speaks to what we said earlier, your value system. Like what you stand for should emanate through your personal and your professional ethics. Period. Right? Like it shouldn't be like in my personal life, I'm this person, and when I'm in front of people, I'm that person. Right? Like at the core, who are you? And if who you are changes depending on the environment that you're in, then like you can't be trusted.
Yeah, I don't think that's what I'm talking about either.
No, I'm not saying that's what you're speaking of, but I'm saying just in looking at this situation, like from a bird's eye view. All right, what's going on, right? Like, I'm not sure. I would, as a leader, encourage people to make.
The bird probably got COVID too. No.
Choice. Huh?
Said the bird probably got COVID too from that point of view. He's just carrying around the different groups. I'm sorry.
But why can't everybody just encourage everyone to make their own choice?
Because then that begs the question, how do you organize things if everybody that's why I asked that question. Then I mean that's a great point.
Ever had to have like
no, but that's how you organize. You give them choices. You say, hey, everybody get to choose. Now here are your choices.
Nah, when
a mandate don't give you a choice.
The reason
no, I take that back. You
exactly
you always have a choice. You always have a choice. But a mandate attempts to force your choice.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, it goes right back to laws like the speed limit. You can choose to go whatever speed you want, but they have a mandate saying what speed you're not supposed to go faster than.
Yeah, let's look at the others. No, okay.
And we don't question that. We don't now watch this. Wow. Isn't it considered irresponsible to say forget the mandate on speed? Is that responsible? That's the question that I'm asking you. Forget the fact that it's right. Your car will go 120 and you're a professional driver. So I'm good at 80, but the speed limit is 60. Am I right? That's the question. I'm a leader. Keep that in mind as well. I'm a leader. I'm a professional driver. So people follow me. Is it right for me to drive around at 80 miles an hour, or do I have more of an obligation to obey the mandate?
That's the question that I'm asking. Context. Right. You got a skill set that your audience doesn't. And if you're not aware of that, that's a blind spot. And that's, again, inauthenticity as a leader. That's assuming. No, I am. Because you're assuming you're talking to professional drivers. And at the same time, yes, there's a mandate. Why? Because the majority of people at a certain speed, and science will prove the majority of us at a certain speed do not have the reflexes to be able to overcome certain challenges. Like, everybody gets a driver's license, but nobody's really, like, how many people actually obey all the laws on how to drive? And I'm talking about the small ones. But that don't mean you throw them out the window, though. No. I'm talking about following too closely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about not driving in the left lane if you're not passing. Right, all of those are mandates too. So why do we selectively choose which ones to enforce? To me, again, that lacks accountability. Sure, it's what's accepted.
I mean, and then when you think about the speed limit, because there are countries that don't have speed limits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there are places you can go and there's no speed lane, no signs that tell you. So it's the suggested safe speed to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, if you exceed that by a certain amount, because y'all know if you 1 to 9 over the speed limit, you likely ain't getting pulled over unless officers just having a bad day and needs to meet.
Or you're in Rockwood, South Carolina. Okay, stay out of Rockville. Don't go to Rockville. Okay, it's right there on the border. North Carolina, South Carolina.
Rock Hill.
Is it Rock Hill? You've been
Hill.
through there? Rock
I
Hill.
used to live there. That's why I ran my Kirby office at.
Stay away from there. I mean, there's like a stretch of 8 miles. They ain't got nothing else to do but pull people. Nothing. Watch your speed through there, okay? I'm talking about they'll get you for 5 over.
That's now right now. If you could hear what you're saying right now, you are illustrating my point.
Yes, I
right
am.
now,
And
right? I don't know if you know that or not. You
I've
just
been-
illustrated my point.
Yes, and some may call it irresponsible, and I say make sure your waves is turned on because I've been through there multiple times, and I ain't seen nothing but people pull.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to get pulled, either don't go through Rock Hill. Again, it's the evidence-based argument. All right, this is not just Bakar's opinion, and there's probably other places around. But Rock Hill, I know for sure.
And wouldn't you?
I'm talking about 3 miles. There was 11 people pulled.
And
no way.
And wouldn't
no
you
way.
be? And wouldn't you be kind of inconsiderate to tell people with that knowledge that you have, yo, listen, man, don't obey the speed limit in Rock Hill. It's unnecessary.
No.
There's unnecessary speed traps in Rock Hill, and speed is wrong, and we shouldn't be told what to do. Go ahead and blaze through there. Are you responsible for telling them that, or are you more responsible for what you did just now? That kind of goes back to the initial question that I'm asking. If you're in a position of leadership, do you have to watch what you say to your people? That's really the whole point that I was asking, I was making.
I think you do have to watch if you, again, are going to be accountable.
If you're a leader, you're going to be accountable.
No, you're not.
No. Are you serious?
I'm not talking about Joe Biden. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you, and me. I'm talking about the individual. I ain't talking about
that's the thing. I have a choice there too. I don't have to. That's half the problem. Is you get to choose not to be accountable too. Look how many children don't have their fathers in this country. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about accountability.
I don't.
Women don't have a choice when it comes to carrying the baby. Or I'm sorry, the government trying to take a woman's choice of whether they can carry a baby or not. But a man get to walk away, like, amen. Until they're brought to the law, until they brought in front of a judge. Right? Is a man responsible? And I'm talking to all of y'all out here.
It sounds to me like you're advocating for mandates. It sounds to me like yes, it sounds to me like you're saying no accountability. We need accountability. Accountability is a mandate. That's the same thing.
Accountability
starts with
personal responsibility.
Exactly. And it is mandatory. That is what you're saying. Accountability to make an organized society work, accountability is mandatory. That's what the law is. That's what a mandate is. That's what organizes society. That's why everybody don't go. That's why everybody don't get to choose the speed that they go on the interstate. So because there would be no organization. Here's
where I'm gonna break that argument down. Right, the government can't watch us 24 hours a day. The government can't enforce personal accountability. There's no way. There's no way a law or a mandate can enforce personal accountability. That's a human choice. All right. Every single person has to make that choice or make those choices for themselves every single day.
And the only thing that will inform that choice is if they have a set of principles and values and standards that they hold themselves to. Right. Like I don't
or
care
just think of the consequences of getting caught.
Right. But like I don't
out of accountability.
And this is something that I learned, I feel like I learned growing up. We were always taught both sides, right? You can choose to be wise or you can choose to be a fool. And here are the consequences of those choices. You choose.
And isn't that what a mandate is?
No.
A mandate is you do it or here's the consequences. And that's exactly
it's not a choice though. No.
Hold, slow down. What is the title of our show tonight?
No jab, no job.
Either you get the jab or what?
You could lose your job.
That is the choice. So the choice is, do you need a job
or not?
That's not the point.
No, it is the point though.
No. Hold on.
It's
Slow
being,
down.
it's
Slow
being.
down.
No,
I'm
I
saying
can't slow down.
that
No,
the
let me ask this.
mandate is the accountability,
But-
and I
but
guess
no.
y'all are looking at it like the mandate means that you don't have a choice. I'm saying that the mandate allows you just as much of a choice as the speed limit does.
Okay,
There's a
let me ask
speed
you
limit,
this.
and you can choose to go faster than it or
No,
not.
this is good.
The
This is
question
good.
is, the
You
question is,
Let's make sure
why?
everybody's listening.
Why? Why
Mhm.
do we have the speed limit at 60 or 70?
To have some degree of organization.
Okay, sure. Or because we know people are going to exceed it and we can pull them over and find them.
Well, hold on.
Why do
I
we
would
have
say
that?
to have some degree of organization.
Or sure. We'll go
We
with
know that
organization.
that typically over a certain speed, it leads to more.
That's the accountability piece.
I mean,
That's
we
what
can just
keeps
let people
people from
crash
speeding.
and just keep taking lives, or we can say, "Hey guys, slow down a little. Let's save a few more lives."
Okay, laws are not for people who break laws. I mean, sorry, laws are not for people who are law-abiding citizens.
We got you on that. But I'll go
So
right
this-
back to the. Go ahead.
So
I'm sorry.
the no jab, no job. All right, that's your choice. Either get the jab or you can lose your job. Why are we using this to affect people's livelihood? Like, why has it gotten to that degree to where if
what's
you
the
don't
correlation?
fall in line, if you don't like I don't lose my job if I exceed the speed limit.
The government, I'm not saying I agree with this, but the government, I would think, would say is because it's gotten out of hand.
Yeah, you're a public.
what
So
they
has
would say.
homelessness. So has no, because I can't buy that. We have been
I guess
He's calling.
it's
let me say this.
Call
Let
it
me say
L'Oreal.
this because I want to. I mean, I'm making a point, but I mean, this is a good discussion.
I think
Can
she's
you
calling
even-
both.
Can you even have an organized society with people that like to think as free as we do?
Absolutely.
yes.
I don't see how. If everybody is allowed to choose, I don't see how you can have any
If
organization. Everybody can just do what they want to do.
if
All right,
everyone,
well, you don't show up to the next call, and let's see. No, I'm kidding.
if
I'm
everyone
playing.
chooses to hold themselves accountable and not to impose, so like this was a conversation I had
Talking
with-
about something that has never existed. That has never existed from day one. You can't point to me not one history book that talks about a time in history where everybody was held themselves accountable. Any time period that you point to where that happened is only in,
fairy tales. What?
I was gonna say in fairy tale, but I don't want to offend nobody. It's not in documented history where that has ever
So,
existed.
but
It's
that
not
to
a
me,
part of the human.
that speaks to the whole reason why we're here.
The human
And
condition.
we can take it all the way back. We are here in this plane of manifestation to try to get something right. Like this obviously ain't where we started. So if the goal is to grow and to get better and to improve oneself, to know oneself and to know your creator, like that's really where we should be directed. People, now granted, we wanted a separation of church and state, if you will, right? Like we didn't, but like we've lost our value system. Because I say that because I went to my uncle's memorial service a few months ago, and the stories that I heard about the type of man that he was,
Mhm.
like where they make them that? Like they don't. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't, right? But like that model, the mold is in the archives, or they only like it's values that have to be taught and have to be passed on from one generation to the next. And so that value system is what helps you to hold yourself accountable. I don't need the government's laws, the state's laws to govern myself personally. But I also accept personal responsibility if I make choices that have consequences. I don't blame or justify or complain when there's a outcome that may not be to my advantage, because of a choice that I made. I accept the consequences of my choice. We don't teach accountability for your choices. We teach, let me take care of you, right? Welfare. Let me take care of you. I'm not saying you, right? Society says, let me take care of you. We'll give you welfare. Let me take care of you. We'll give you housing assistance. Let me take care of you. We'll give you drugs to fight symptoms. But accountability would be, you need to earn your keep. A man that don't work don't eat. You need to position yourself to where you can, right? I made choices. I had children. I could have chosen to put them in foster care or to let somebody else raise them. But I accepted the choice that I made a decision that led to me having a child. Therefore, thus henceforth, I am responsible for my child.
Yeah.
So that's what people are missing. And so we keep looking to the government and looking to them for answers when we need to be looking within.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking for somebody else to save us. And I promise you that is not how the creator designed this whole setup. He say go to your president, go to your congressman, go to your senator for salvation. He says seek me.
Ooh, y'all getting a sermon tonight. No jab, no job, no Jesus, no. So she say, no. I just. Oh, you muted, Maurice.
I was gonna say, just to go a step further, G. I think he also said something about obey Rome's law.
Where's that written?
Where is that written? In the Quran.
Find it.
Well, I can't say that I know that's written in the Quran.
Oh, okay.
I can say that I can't say that I know for sure, but the from what I understand, the prophet was quoted as saying that.
Well, as a leader,
he said,
as a leader, are you?
And let me take that back. And yes, it does say obey the law in the prophet's teachings.
It says obey the
that.
law. What law we talking about, though? What law we talking about?
Obey the law.
You talking about divine law, divine instructions.
That's another discussion, but
he said, it is the discussion.
He says obey the law, and he also says obey the Constitution. Prophet ain't never teach you nothing about disobeying the law. He ain't never say nothing about that.
He's right. However, right, just like there are tax,
I know we ain't talking about the prophet
consequences, or they're just okay. We'll take it back to if there's a game being played and you don't know the rules, you playing by a different set of rules because you don't understand the game, right? Like you playing checkers and they playing chess. Just like a company like Amazon can pay no taxes, no income tax on their profits, whereas you as an individual are paying. There's two sets of laws. You choose which set you want to live by. You get to choose. You can go to entrepreneurship, business owner route, and you can have a certain set of laws that apply to you, or you can go by the laws that apply to employees.
And above all of that is still divine law. You could jump off that cliff and say, I can fly. I believe I can fly.
But we really ain't talking about divine law though, bro. When I said that a minute ago, in our teachings, it says obey the laws and constitution of this.
We're not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government.
Yeah, it says that too. It says that too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I ain't finna overthrow it. I am going to align myself in a way that it benefits me and my value system. I'm not going to compromise my personal values to comply with some man.
I got you. I got you. I ain't suggesting that you do. I was just bringing out the point. Just understand, like, because it does say that in our teachers. You can't talk your way out of that. It says obey the law. Can't talk your way out of that one, big brother.
We are not to cause.
Right.
Well, that's ain't talking about divine law. No, he ain't. He talking about the laws of this government.
But see, the divine law supersedes that.
And ain't nothing. Watch this.
No, let me see.
I
what
say ain't nothing wrong with saying, you know what? I ain't doing that. Just say it.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, don't try to talk your way around it. No, he didn't really say that. And he meant something different. No. I just ain't doing that. Just say it.
It's the
who's responsible for you? You?
I am.
Or the prophet? Who's responsible for you?
I am. He just gave me the guidebooks.
It's like, don't be afraid to say it.
He said you lose confidence in me. Go back to what you was doing.
So
return to the state that I found you.
So how is it that you believe that and then you say I ain't gonna obey the mandate and I'm gonna tell my 500 followers not to do it as well?
Because
that just sounds so irresponsible to me.
I don't fall under the mandate.
Okay, I got
the mandate doesn't apply to me. Why? Because I made a different choice from the beginning.
Yeah.
Right. If you're in that situation, it's all conditional. The mandate isn't a blanket for everyone. It's a suggestion, like she said.
Yeah.
It's mandated for those who chose a job.
No, it's mandated for those who have companies that have over 100 employees. It's also mandated for people that expect to do business with the federal government. In other words, let's not make this.
I'm not here to oversimplify. No,
what I'm saying is, don't make this about it's about not having a job, because you can be a business owner and be affected by this too.
Absolutely, you can.
Yeah,
you absolutely can. And again, as the owner, you have a choice to lead. You can. As I seen Grant Cardone said, hey, my family, my company, we not abiding by that. I'll eat the fees.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat the fees. Why? Because he set himself up to be able to make that kind of choice.
Mm-hmm. Now, if anyone of his
and to protect his people's choice, because he's got principles that he stands on as a leader. So if Grant Cardone as a leader can step out and speak, would you call that irresponsible? No, because he set himself up to be able
well, you asked the question and you answered it.
I know, because I know what the answer is. He set himself up to take responsibility for the choice. Grant Cardone's being accountable. He's saying, I'm going to take the hit.
If you're asking I can't say that I would so willingly say, yeah, he's being responsible in saying that.
Free choice does not come without accountability.
The
two cannot exist without each other. If you want to accept free choice, you got to accept accountability. I built my company.
Well, no, to your point with Grant Cardone, he values his people's livelihood enough to where he's willing to take, like you said, he's willing to take the hit so that his people can continue to eat. Like that's something that I can buy into, right? Like that's something that I can believe in. He stands for something. You're telling me that our government is telling people that if you don't choose what we want you to choose, you may not eat. What does that say about our government?
But they tell us that with everything else. They tell us that with the speed limit. They tell us that with every law that has ever been made. That's what it's the same thing.
There's a little bit of truth mixed with a little bit of deception. Don't get caught up in that, right? They don't tell us everything with everything. There's a little bit, and again, remember that there are people in government making these laws. I feel like let's not miss the nuance in that. There are people with agendas who are creating laws for a certain benefit, and again, they're not being accountable. We've already established that.
Yeah, I agree with everything. I agree with everything that y'all are saying. I still question how responsible it is to.
I'm saying we elected these individuals to represent us. They're supposed to represent the people.
Okay.
So if they're making decisions that affect the people without considering the people, like how is that being accountable to the people that you represented.
I'm just kind of making the point. Nothing that I don't think I've said or implied that I disagree. Everything that y'all saying, everything that y'all saying is right. I guess I had two main questions that I still haven't really sorted out that I think is important to sort out. We don't have to take time tonight though. I think the two main important questions is one, like, I say again, is it responsible if you're in a position of leadership to encourage disunity? And the second question, even if you're right, and I guess the second question,
that's exactly what the government's doing though.
The second question would be
disunity.
The second question would be, how do you, because to me it's a legitimate question, how do you have an organized society? It makes sense. Everybody should have the ability to choose to do whatever they want to do. And that's not just
your choices should not impose on my choices.
And watch this. And that's not just in vaccines. That's in everything. Like I just didn't watch Dave Chappelle special. I'm sure y'all might have seen it. The Closer talks a lot about transgender and the LGBTQ community, right? Talks a lot about that. That's another movement that, like, you got another group of people saying those people have gone too far. That shouldn't be accepted. It's kind of the same thing. You get what I'm saying? So I'm going to ask the question again. If everybody gets to choose to do what they want to do, which we know we're here to be able to exercise freedom and exercise thought. I know that. But how do you keep society organized if everybody can just do whatever they want? Everybody can go whatever speed they want. And if you crash, you got accountability. Yeah, you got to pay a ticket. Yeah, you got to pay the funeral costs of the other person that you killed. But other than that, the next day you can get back on the interstate, go as fast as you want to. You can do whatever you want to. You can dress however you want. If you want to send your child to school dressed as the opposite sex, if you want to send your child to school dressed as the opposite sex, but going into the boys' bathroom, all of that's acceptable. I'm talking about everything right now that we look at that we say these people have gone too far. Because like in so many different categories, and again, I love personal freedom. I personally feel what you just now said, Majida. You should be able to do whatever you want to do. Same-sex marriage. We ain't talking about that, but that's another big controversial thing. I ain't got a problem. You should be able to do whatever you want to do. But there are those that will say they've gone too far. And I'm just saying that if everybody scatters like roaches, which is what we feel like we should be able to do, okay, fine. But it seems to me that necessary evils, like you're like that solves a problem, but it creates another problem. That's what
I think it's possible for people to choose when their choices don't impose on other people's choices. My choice shouldn't affect you in a way that you can't choose freely for what you want for you and your family.
Sounds good.
But if
I'm speeding on the road and I kill you, you didn't have any say-so in that. That was my dumb decision that took your life. If we are a society, and every choice that we make, if I go out in public in a public restaurant right now and start smoking, that affects you. We're a society. There's nothing that we do that don't affect somebody else, technically speaking, right?
But your values would allow you to consider other people. So when you look at these movements, I want to do what you want to do. Just don't impose it on me. I shouldn't have to. I can accept your choice without respecting it. It's your choice. I don't have to like it. I don't have to like you. It's your choice. But you ain't got to bring it to my front door
and make me believe it.
Right.
And agree with it. And I think that's where when you get into laws and mandates, and I don't want to say mandates, but typically laws that are passed in agreement. Now, granted, it is majority, but a majority of people elected as representatives of the people are passing laws in agreement. So enough people ideally are on the side of these things. And until we, just like the Constitution has amendments. Yeah, that too. But even as our Constitution has a number of amendments, along the way we realize, this don't serve us no more. Let's change that. Mm-hmm. So laws, again, man's law, mutable. God's law, immutable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know what
We ain't talking about that.
But to me, that's the foundation of the argument,
Yeah.
right? It still comes down to choice. You
But
get
some
to
people
choose
don't
the
believe in
set of
God.
laws. You get to choose, until they die, right? Or until, you know what I'm saying? Look, that's your choice, right? Live that life, right? You can be fruitful, whatever. That had nothing to do with me, right? Don't make me not believe in God because you don't.
You don't.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
You're not talking to
I
me,
believe in
right?
him. Don't mean you have
No,
to.
I'm not talking about you. No, we're not talking about you. I'm just saying you stay at a distance because when the wrath comes, according to my beliefs, I know that for those anyway, we
You going way out in left field, man. Jesus.
No, this is
Let's keep
me.
this within the realms of what we can control.
Right.
I can't control God.
We can control our choices,
choice.
and in that choice, to be responsible for our choices. Because if we don't choose responsibility for our choices and our choices adversely affect others, guess what? Other people are going to take responsibility for our choices, and it's probably not going to be anything that we like or want.
Hence, that is why the vaccine mandate has happened. What you just now said. People had the choice. The numbers, according to what they say, are going up too high to a point where they feel like they got to jump in and take control. What you just now said. If we don't do it ourselves, then somebody else got to jump in.
So if the government feels like, again, the people who are our representatives in government, let me not just speak of it like it's just some, amorphous anonymous enemy. No, if the people that we elected into these offices feel that this is the best decision, then we shall go with it. All right. For those who are in agreement, go with it. And if you feel like it violates your freedoms and your rights, then stand by that.
Yeah.
That's really what it's all about. It don't matter if you're a leader or you a follower. Stand by what you believe in.
Yep.
And accept the consequences of it. Be accountable. No jab, no job. That's our show, y'all. No job, no worries. Hey man, I'm looking forward to keeping it constant, man. I miss this. It's good to see y'all. Get back into the booth, the room. I don't know what all of that sound is in the background, but let's keep it going. 2021. We haven't had a chance. I was hoping that we get to come in and talk about, like fourth quarter and preparing for the new year. But we got this one out, right? We got this one out of our system. So next time we get together, maybe we could talk about some leadership principles, right? What does it take to be a quality leader? We touched on high value identities. Why not leadership identity? It's something I like to look at this time of year too. So pull out your John Maxwell, you know what I'm saying? One of the leading authorities on leadership. And let's have a conversation next time about that. All in favor?
Slap.
I love it.
Let's do it.
Cool. Well, this has been the Seer Mastermind Show with Majida, Maurice, and your mastermind coach, Bakar Bey. We'll see you in a few weeks.